Hello? Okay. I hope you can hear me and I hope you can see me. Today I would like to discuss two new candidates that we haven't discussed before, and it's Giri and Caruana. I'm sure you heard about those players. So the first thing I want to point out is that they are both very strong players, and I do have sort of personal experience with both of them. So I would like to start with my own game, which you can see in front of you. I played Anish Giri in 2014, and I know he's quite infamous about his draws. So I would like to show examples where it's not true at all. So we'll start. By the way, it's quite a painful example for me. That was Qatar Masters 2014, the first out of two, I think. And this was round 4, and we played on the first board. So it was, I don't know if you heard about that tournament before. It's extraordinary strong tournament. Giri, Kramnik and others played there. I won first 2 rounds against 2400 ELO players, and then in third round I beat with white Pentala Hare Krishna, and in round number 4 I'm meeting Anish Giri on first board of Qatar Masters. You can find some pictures on Google. So back then he did not have that offering draws all the time or ending the tournaments with all draws. So, and he proved me wrong a lot in this line. So I played Caro-Kann with him. There was some period where I played Caro-Kann, and here on h4, which is, well, in my opinion, one of the best moves against Caro-Kann in this particular position, I wanted to deviate from his preparation, so I played c5. And to be honest, I don't remember what was my theoretical background when I played that game. That was a long time ago. So he just took my pawn. You can see all the moves, so spoiler alert, I suppose. But I want to show that Anish Giri can play very aggressive chess. He can sacrifice pawns and material for initiative or attack when the position demands so. So I don't think it's that he's so boring and solid and unbeatable. It's that his opponents don't let him show his full strengths, as I did by just playing poorly. So what happened next? Knight c6, I attack his pawn, bishop b5, queen c7. It was at the end of 2014, so I suppose it is possible to check at chess 24. I think chess 24 was around when we played this game. You can see how much time I spent on each move and guess how much time, what did I know, what did he know. But this was almost no games were played like this, because I'm gonna check the online database. Okay, McShane Howell 2000, and now Giri played knight to e2, and that's it. That's just our game in database, as you can see here, right? There are other good moves for white here. Queen d5 as indicated by Sahar Shah, and there are many other games, but he played knight e2, and I was definitely on my own here. So the pawn on d5 was hanging, he didn't take it, so here I thought it's time for me to give up, so it's time for me to take material, and that was immediately a mistake on move 7. So first of all, move like knight e2 takes guts, you lose the central pawn. And on queen e5, it's obvious that he planned not castle or knight c3, he planned bishop to f4. Oh, knight c3 was objectively stronger. Okay, I did not know that. e6, here, and queen d4. Okay, that's not very natural, and that actually doesn't look that strong for black if you're not using engine. I'm sure Stockfish would support this one. But he went like this, I took a pawn, and he gives up me the third pawn. Right? So this is not Anish Giri that you know, which plays solid chess and makes draws all the time. No, he can play very active, aggressive chess. Make no mistake, if the opponent lets him crush him, he would do it. It's not like he's gonna play slow chess, not at all. So here, for example, interesting line was bishop takes c2, and white has pleasant choice between queen c1. So by the way, white just gave up 3 pawns. 3, okay, white was 1 pawn up, but white gives up 3 pawns for initiative. That takes guts and calculation. This is not the side I think you're aware of, Anish Giri. Queen c1, rook c1, knight d4, knight d5 winning 1 pawn back, and black has a fine position. But I didn't like queen d5, queen a1, king d2, and if I take the second rook, this is more like Morphy games or something. White just simply gives a nice checkmate, right? So obviously I've seen that one, and rook d8 was the only move, and I didn't like this position because most likely rook will end up on b1 and then penetrating to b8. I'm still extraordinarily behind in development for just 1 pawn. Knight d4 is coming. If bishop moves, like white can sacrifice a pawn and get the b file. After knight d4, it's very difficult to hold the pawn. Maybe I should have went here. The game would definitely not end in 18 moves. Spoiler alert. So I played knight f6. Castle. So check it out. Strategically, first of all, black has 1 pawn up. White has awful pawn on h4, right? Some doubled pawns, but black is completely undeveloped. The queen is almost trapped in the corner. So I decided to move my queen away before I lose it. And then another piece. Okay, now I'm 2 pawns up. Hooray! But then he makes a very nice move backward. Bishop a4, attacking my b7 pawn. And it's almost impossible to protect it in a decent way, and rook on b7 would be a disaster. So for example, on castle rook b5, I think my queen would be lost shortly here. White's attack is just overwhelming. For just 2 pawns, white has all the pieces in the attack. Half of my pieces are developed. That was it. e5 takes, knight g4. Usually they recommend to give up material and to gain some development, but that was way too late for me. Bishop d6 never works, like rook b5, rook b7. Long castle was a suicide mission for my king. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight b5. Knight a7 is a crushing threat. Knight d4, queen f6. And after queen f3, I just decided to resign because queen c3 is inevitable. Okay, this is the line provided. That's just crushing. And I'm already 1 pawn down if you didn't notice. And of course I'm lost here. So I just had to resign on move 18. So I hope you like this side of Anish Giri that hopefully you didn't know before. If his opponent goes to play risky open positions, Giri can show his true strengths. Okay. All right. So now it's time to check Fabiano Caruana. A little backstory. At first I would show you a game of mine. 1 second. Yes. Okay. So 2010. This game was played in 2010, last round of European Championship. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I remember 2 European Championships that Fabiano Caruana played. But that was 10 years ago. He was only 26-18. And then he played later with 27 a lot, and then he lost like last round or the 10th round to Yuri Krivoruchko, my fellow Ukrainian. And here, okay, I will not spoil anything for you. So a little personal story. So how I was playing literally next to Fabiano Caruana, and I watched the whole game, and I was playing, like I was here, I was white, Mayorov Nikita was next to me, was white, and Fabiano Caruana played black against him. So backstory, last round of European Championship 2010, in order to qualify to World Cup, me and Mayorov Nikita from Belarus, we had like, my rating was 25-25, his rating was 25-10 maybe. And so we had a very tough tournament. With that rating, if you go to European individual and you play well, the whole tournament you're playing against like 2600, 2650, around that. And before the last round, we had 6.5 out of 10, I would say. Yeah, that's +3, and a win is required to qualify to World Cup. Or back in the day, it was tie breaks. So you qualify to tie breaks, and then you have to win one tie break most likely, and you're in the World Cup. Basically, we both have to win. And our rating is 25-20. And before the last round, there were many players who had +3, and like 25, maybe 25.05 was already playing with the highest rated players of the group that tied with +3 before last round. And so we go together with Nikita to see the pairings, or maybe check the pairings online, or maybe we were together. And then we check the pairings. I am playing against Robert Hovhannisyan from Armenia. He was almost grandmaster, or maybe already a grandmaster, with a little less than 2500. So basically the same level player as me, like 20-30 points of rating is not a big difference, and we both have the same number of points. So he also has a very good tournament. And then Nikita checks his pairings, and he plays Fabiano Caruana. So 10 years ago he was not as strong as now. He was 2680. But what is funny is that how can he be on the board after me playing Caruana with such a high rating? Caruana had +2 before the last round. He had less points than both of us. He had 6 out of 10, 0 chances to qualify to the World Cup. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he never qualified from European individual. Or at least 2 times I observed him. We played together, well, in one tournament. He never qualified. He actually had to qualify by rating eventually. So last round, Nikita gets Fabiano Caruana, who doesn't stand a chance to qualify. So arguably he may be okay with the draw, because me and Robert, we both fight, we both want to win. That's like a good scenario where your opponent wants to beat you as well. It's easier to win if your opponent wants to beat you as well. So Nikita is joking, oh, you're lucky you play against 2400. And I'm playing against Caruana. And so we joke a little bit, and then we go prepare. So this is a game I had with Robert Hovhannisyan. So here, somewhere here, he surprised me with knight c6 move. I didn't know the theory. 2010, so there's no way of checking how much time I spent, and I didn't keep the score sheet. Knight c3, d6. I'm low on time. I'm doing my best. I castle. I get very good position. So this is the position, very good position for white, right? All the pieces are developed. I'm putting pressure on d6 pawn. And by the way, you can ask any questions in the chat. I will try to respond to them. Okay, so what is going on here? I have very good position. Queen e3, queen e8, rook e1, bishop b7. Look at white's position. Amazing. All pieces out. Black is basically all on back rank. E takes d, c takes d. I put enormous pressure on d6 pawn. Knight d4, takes, queen f8. Black is completely paralyzed. So I'm playing well. Rook to d7, knight e4, rook to d8. I'm fully mobilized. And then, as they say, I lost the track of the game. So this is my experience, and I will tell you how my experience reflected Mayorov Nikita playing literally next to me with Fabiano Caruana. So this is the position I got at move 20. Amazing position. I just needed to find the, well, not winning, but huge advantage here. So I'm gonna show you what was the evaluation of Nikita, who complained about his pairing. Right, he plays Caruana, who doesn't want to win at all. So I'm gonna show you the game Nikita had after 20 moves. So they played some semi-Slav. B6 apparently questionable move, d5, e5. So white gets amazing position. Strong passed pawn, knight on e4. I couldn't believe that Caruana can play so poorly. Well, he tried, I'm guessing, he tried to keep life in the position, and and not simplify and not make a draw. And usually that's not the best strategy when you're playing black against a decent opponent. You actually have to equalize first, right? So what happened next? Move 20. Bishop takes c5, and obviously if takes, there's going to be check, losing the queen. So this is the position Nikita gets after 20 moves. After that, there's really not much to talk about. On move 20, he's completely winning. Just full extra pawn, another strong passer on d5, just centralize your pieces, and bishop g4, rook c1, bishop takes, queen takes, just mobilizing the pieces. Black has zero counterplay. Eventually white push the bishop, some prophylactics. As Krasenkov points out here, Nikita used the do not hurry when you have a winning position and your opponent has no counterplay. And white slowly improves all the pieces, slowly doubling the rooks, moving the queen, now taking the c file, and the pawns decided. That was it. Just mate is coming very quickly. That's Nikita's experience. So, and it happened like literally next to me, and I was like, what? And you were saying I get 2400. He was not 2400, Robert Hovhannisyan. He was 2498, and he was complaining that. So that's a funny story I have. So let's come back to my game. So here, I spent a lot of time here. I see that I have to have like a crushing take capture on d6 because bishop on b7 was not hanging. But any of the captures do not work because bishop moves, and then suddenly there's a deadly pin right here, and I am gonna lose. The same applies to bishop takes. I think bishop a8 or c8. I'm not sure if there's any difference. And there's a deadly pin here. So I spent a lot of time trying to calculate. Well, okay. So the idea is that if takes, then I don't know, take with the rook, and then take on b7 and get a big advantage. But this isn't checkers, so quiet backward move and the pin is deadly. So here I decided to take it slow with h3 and then c5, a good move. So here I lost the track of the game, and the game ended in a crushing attack for him. d5, suddenly black opens up the position. I'm still trying to play for a win because draw is really nothing for me. And here I think I blundered at my queen getting trapped. Knight f5, bishop d8, such an obvious move. And I thought he would have to, like, g7 is hanging. I thought f6 was necessary. But of course bishop d8, my queen has no place to go except run into discovered attack. And then black's bishops. So here a beautiful combination. Enjoy. Bishops. I forgot the name of these bishops. Maybe you can tell me what's the name of those bishops. Rubinstein famous combination, I would say. And here he just crushed me like this. Check and check. I forgot. It's a known combination, right? The bishop is pinning this pawn, the queen is attacking, and rook to h1, king h1, queen h3 mate. But for some reason I thought I have a knight. So this is clearly lost for me. I play without the queen. Two bishops are crushing. Rook h1. Now in retrospect, I think I should have let black checkmate me. That would be a nice gesture. But I was so depressed that I just stopped my clock. I was in severe time trouble. So coming back to the critical moment of the game. After move 20, we both had amazing positions, but Nikita had just a clear pawn up with no counterplay for his opponent. This is not the case for me. The crushing move that I didn't see was actually rook takes d6. So I felt that the pin is the problem, but it looks like another pin, but it's not. Rook d7 is coming. And if bishop takes, I think it's just bishop takes. That's it. So it's not it's not rocket science, right? Takes. And then if queen takes, queen b7, and back rank problems I can always fix with queen e7. And queen e8 loses, well, not loses, but horrible position for black after this. Now I cannot really move the bishop, but due to attack here, I can just play h3 or h4. It doesn't matter. The queen is extraordinarily powerful here. Takes. Black is in big trouble here. Maybe black can build some fortress, although... So the moves that I didn't see was actually rook takes d6. I have 3 captures, I consider 2, and the other one was just crushing. Okay, so this is my experience with, okay, Fabiano Caruana 10 years ago. He was not that strong, but Anish Giri 6 years ago, he was already 27-70. Okay, so Caruana and Giri. Caruana, I think, is an obvious favorite, but in these times where at this stress, you know, like with the coronavirus and all these quarantines and stuff, anything can really happen, and I'm not sure how different players would react to such circumstances. Not everybody can perform well in those circumstances. I read somewhere, I think Karyakin's semi-protected bishop, yeah. Karyakin pointed out that he was helping Rajabov, and apparently one of the reasons was that he didn't want to have this constant irrelevant thoughts about the disease, about safety, about procedures, etc. So that would influence him a lot, and I can really understand that. So in this tournament we would also see not only chess but also psychology. We would have a lot of psychology. You know, one sneeze, you know, and depending how freaked out you are about the situation, it can really be unpleasant to watch. And I think the level of play could drop a little bit because of this. And the one with most stamina, I would say, and who's the most resilient to psychological pressure would win this tournament. Okay, so that concludes, like, this is very short, this is not analysis, this is just my personal experience with, maybe I would show one cow game, but maybe not, we will see, I hope you like what you saw. Please subscribe to my channel, like this stream, like my videos, ring the bell to get notified, and in the description you can find the link to my course on tactics that people find useful. I think it has highest rating on whole Udemy regarding chess, like 5 stars, and none of the other courses have. So enjoy and take care. Spread the word about my channel. I hope you like what I'm doing here. You have no questions. Okay, that is good. Take care. Goodbye, and I'll see you soon, and we'll talk about 4 more candidates. Take care. Bye.